Hey guys, Supertecnoboff here, and I'm here for the Xcode tutorial for you today. Now in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how you can use a UI segmented control in your iOS application. So let's open up Xcode and start a new project. I'm going to use a single view application and call this test. Save it on the desktop. Now let's unlock obviously. Now let's come into the viewControl.xib. We're simply going to add in a segmented control, like so. And we're going to set 3 segments. There we go. Now obviously you've got options to change the design, so we could set a bar, we could change the color, the tint of our UI segmented control, and so on. Now basically, for the purposes of this tutorial, what this segmented control is going to do is that it's going to have 3 labels here, so I'm going to put 1, 2, and 3. So basically when 1 is selected here, this label is going to say 1. When 2 is selected, the label is going to say 2. And when 3 is selected, the label is going to say 3. Very simple, right? So all done in the interface builder. Let's come to our viewControl.h file, add in 2 curly brackets, and we're going to need to add in 2 IB outlets. So IB outlet space UI segmented control space star, and now type in a name for our segmented control. So I'm just going to call this control, semicolon, save. Now we're going to add in another IB outlet for the label. So IB outlet space UI label space star, and then give our label a name. So I'm just going to call it label, semicolon, save. Now underneath the closing curly bracket, we're going to add in an IB action. So IB action, and I'll type in a name for IB action. So I'm just going to call this, let's just call this segment controller, semicolon, save. Now let's just copy and paste this IB action into our viewControl.m file and get rid of the semicolon, add in 2 curly brackets, and in between the curly brackets we're going to add in 3 if statements because we've got 3 different buttons. So if button 1 is pressed, the if statement which is linked to button 1 will start the certain code we set it. If the second button is pressed, the second if statement is used, and if the third button is pressed, then the third if statement is used. So if, open brackets, and I'll type in the name of our segmented control. So mine is called control, so I'm just going to type in control.segment, selected segment index space equal, and then we're going to put 0, close the brackets. Now open and close 2 curly brackets. And now in between these 2 curly brackets is where we're going to type in the code which we would like to happen when the first segment is pressed. So I have a label, so I'm going to type in label dot text space equals, and put at, open 2 quotation marks, and I'm going to put 1, semicolon, save. So now we've got our first if statement. So this is the if statement which will be used when the first segment is pressed. But what about the second and third segment? We're just going to copy and paste this here. So copy that and paste it there, and paste it once again. So we have 3 if statements. Now we need to change the numbers. So when the if statement is 0, that means the first button. When the if statement is equal to 1, that's talking about the second button. And when the if statement is set to 2, that's talking about the third button. So save that. Just going to quickly change this. So we're all done for the code, as you can see. So basically, when the first if statement is pressed, then the label will say 1. When the second if statement is pressed, the label will say 2. And when the third if statement is pressed, the label will say 3. Very simple, right? So we'll save that and come into the viewController.xib file. We're just going to link our code to our interface. So click the Files owner and click the Connections tab. Connect the control outlet to our UI segmented control. Connect the label outlet to our label, and connect the segmented controller received action to our UI segmented control, and now a menu will pop up. Now when this menu pops up, we're just going to click value changed. Very simple, right? Save that. And now we can build and run our iOS application. And there should be no errors. As you can see, there are no errors. So it should build and compile properly, as it has done here. And the iOS simulator should launch. So let's watch and see if it works. It should work because the code is all correct and the code is linked up properly to our XIB file. So if we click 2, the label changes to 2. If we click 3, the label changes to 3. And if we click 1, the label changes to 1. Very simple. So there we have it, guys. That is how you can use a UI segmented control in your iOS applications. This works on the iPhone, the iPod Touch, and of course the iPad. Well, thank you very much for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If it has helped, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and stay up to date with the latest Xcode tutorials on my YouTube channel. Well, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. For the latest Xcode tutorials, please check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Supertecnoboff.